Stronger than a whale, he can swim anywhere.
He can breathe underwater and go flying through the air.
The noble submariner, prince of the deep, will be ready any demon.
Lord Namor of Atlantis is the prince of the deep.
What's up, guys? Gravity here, and I'm here joined by my bro, Corin O'Keefe. Say hello to the beautiful people.
What is up, everyone? Corin O'Keefe. Happy to be here doing this collaboration with you. And as the title implies, we're bringing you the power of Namor the Submariner.
Chad, the king of the deep himself, and probably one of my all-time favorite characters. Number 2, if not number 1, because he's fucking awesome, as we're going to show today with this glorious power scale of him, and going around, his AP, his speed, and as well the abilities that people, for some reason, don't think Namor has.
Yeah, so without further ado, we'll jump into AP, and why not start off with one of the most iconic characters who only fought throughout the comics, aka the Incredible Hulk himself.
Yes, the great Green Goliath himself.
Yes. And as we know, they've tangled several times. You want to get into that?
Indeed, a giant dump of scans that says Namor beating on the Hulk throughout the ages, which that shows. And, Hulk has gone through, he's held the power of 2 universes, he's clapped time zones, he's fought people that have done the same, and overall he's consistently got, of course, the infamous Beyonder saying he has unlimited power, which, if not taken literally, this is at least, showing universal signs of power. And Namor's fighting this guy consistently, very consistently.
Yes. I'd actually say the infinite power statement would just be supporting evidence to level feats such as holding the power of 2 universes, destroying a space-time continuum during his battle with the Nameless One, and punching through the space-time continuum on more than one occasion. And here we have Namor throughout the comics several times, trading blows and even tossing this dude around like he's, ragdolling him. Taking his blows. Now, another character who he has fought throughout the years is himself. I think you know who I'm talking about. Hercules.
Yes, the great Hercules, Hold up. Let me hold a universe real quick, like it's nothing. Corin, go into the beautiful details of Hercules just holding a universe.
Yeah, so back in the day, his early days actually, Hercules literally takes the universe from Mr. Atlas, the guy who held all of eternity, casually stands there with it, the entire space-time continuum, for a solid at least several hours, bare minimum, hands it back to Atlas, goes on his merry way. Another comic, we see the same Hercules tank a hit from this same Atlas who holds up the universe for all of eternity. Literally took it without even flinching. Here we have Namor trading blows with this dude in the face, drop kicking him, drawing blood from him. You want to add on to that crazy shit?
Yeah, in that fight, he kind of got into a thing with Hercules. I forget the exact specifics of it, but it went a little on the lines of, why the fuck aren't you doing more? And, what the fuck? Why'd you do this? Along those lines. So, while bellowing Imperious Rex at the top of his lungs at the volume of a fucking blue whale, drop kicks Hercules, draws blood, and then has a whole fight with him where they go back and forth, and then it's only stopped because Namor's cousin said, you guys are acting like a typical man, you just fucking fighting to fight, and tells them to stop. Which, of course, since Namor is a true gentleman, and so is Hercules, they both say, you're right.
Yeah, and they go on to have a nice little seafood dinner.
Oh, that one. I love that one. That, Hercules does the amazing thing. He fights Namor. Namor's like, what the fuck are you doing? Later, they have a really great back and forth fight. Scans will be put on the screen, and I suggest just reading the whole fight. Go back and forth to the point like one knocks the other down, the other gets up, knocks the other down, back and forth. And then when they're stopped by another group of heroes, Hercules straight up says, while laughing, you look down, my friend, so I granted you the gift of battle, because the Namor I knew was a very mighty man indeed. And then Namor kind of laughs, and he's like, and, pats him on the back, and be like, yo, thanks, bro, like, that worked. And then Namor goes out, dives into the sea, gets some great seafood, and they eat together. And even someone says, Namor always knows how to find the best seafood, because, he knows that shit.
Exactly. Now, not only has he fought the Green Goliath and the God of Strength himself, but we also know he's went toe-to-toe with the Chad of Thunder as well, Thor. Now, why is this impressive? Some of you may be wondering, well, Thor, during his battle with another Thor, generated energy and force that was quite literally comparable, if not greater, than the Big Bang, as well as Thor being comparable to his homeboy Hyperion, if not a little more durable. Same Hyperion who survived the destruction of 2 entire universes. Yet we have Namor trading blows with this dude, taking Mjolnir, even colliding with Mjolnir right casually. I know you want to add on to that one.
Oh yeah. Basically a big hero scuffle's going on. Namor has to engage the God of Thunder himself, and Thor goes to swing that hammer. Namor sticks his trident out, and he blocks it while Thor is amping his hammer with lightning, and Namor just counters it and blocks it. And that's very impressive because Mjolnir is just insane. It adds on to Thor's strength even more than what it is. It definitely amplifies him a bit with just striking strength. And Namor shows, he can do it, but that trident too, it can even stop Mjolnir.
Yeah, again, and this Mjolnir was generating Big Bang levels of energy, as previously mentioned. So, pretty freaking impressive.
Now, if you may say, oh, well, that was with the trident. Oh, no. One time, I believe was a possessed Thor, so amped a little bit, and kind of enraged, went after Namor, blasted him with energy blast. Namor was not only unharmed the first time, but when the second he dove through the blast like a true Chad, then the next time he was just standing there and telling Thor, hey, your aim sucks.
Yeah. Telling the God of Thunder that, literally insulting the Chad himself. Now, the next one is pretty freaking impressive, and that's when he actually damaged and drew blood from the Sentry. Now, the Sentry, even while suppressed and unstable, was actually able to stalemate a suppressed World War Hulk, who, even while heavily suppressed himself, is more powerful than anything / Green normal Hulk has ever shown. And you heard what he did in the video. So you have Namor punching a dude who outscales like everybody else we just mentioned previously, even while suppressed. And he's even shown, the same Sentry has even shown to outmatch Thor as well. And Namor's capable of drawing blood from him and damaging him.
And just to add on to how powerful.
Add on to that.
Sentry has also fought the great Genis Vell, who also has power from a whole universe, the microverse. And they straight up were saying, Captain America saw these guys and they were fighting, and actually Genis beat Sentry and he just teleported him away. But this whole time Sentry was having a whole basically stalemate fight with this dude who had the power of the universe, and that also would scale to universe power as well. So this just further backs up Sentry's power, and Sentry, even among the heavy hitters, is a strong ass heavy hitter. And that just goes to show Namor, he's got the oomph to actually do this.
There's also one more thing, like it's a little unclear how Galactus was, but it is implied in certain comics that when Sentry and him stalemated, that it was more like a starving Galactus. Now, even a starving Galactus is stronger than Thor and Silver Surfer. You know what I'm saying? Even while starving, he would still scale above these other Universal Plus characters. So this adds on even more. If Sentry was able to stalemate a starving Galactus, that would add on even more to the consistency of Universal Plus scaling, and in turn Namor.
Indeed. Now, he does have some other fights with people that kind of won off. He has fights with fight with Abomination, which he pretty much wins, who scales the Hulk, backs up more of this Universal stuff. He's bodied the Red Hulk and even made the Red Hulk kind of like, oh shit, he's going to kill me. And who also, scales to even more modern Hulk, which would probably be a bit higher than just maybe regular Savage Hulk. Going by how he's shown.
The modern one held up is the one who held the power of the two universes. The more modern one.
Indeed. And then we also have the fight where he got into a short scuffle with the almighty Silver Surfer. Why don't you go into on just how good Silver Surfer is?
Well, Silver Surfer, he's actually dominated Hulk himself, tanked a full-on hit from Hulk. Literally, Hulk stated, "Oh, that's my full strength as well." Surfer also has durability comparable to Thor Hyperion, and in his battle with Unilord, it was actually stating like entire worlds and galaxies in their fight. And again, Surfer consistently keeps up with literally everyone else we just named, even as to draining the Incredible Hulk's energy, reverted him back into Bruce Banner. So Namor is a Chad. Obviously, he's consistently keeping up with these Universal Plus characters very consistently.
Oh, I just got reminded. Our boy Dr. Doom has also tangled with Namor quite consistently as well.
That's true. And we've seen Dr. Doom put hands on Thor, characters around that level.
Heck, I even believe he ate a punch from the Hulk. He kind of just looked at him like, you just did that, and then he blasted him away. I may be thinking of the animated one, granted, but if that applies to comics, if he'd done that in the comics, like I'm thinking, maybe thinking about the animated, but he's even shown how even Doom can, fight the Hulk, and Namor's fought him and even, yeeted him. He uppercutted him so hard it sent Doom flying out of the water, and has also tanked blasts from Dr. Doom in close range, as well as physical punches amped by energy. So, damn, dude.
Yeah, I think we pretty much got it across. I mean, I'm sure the audience gets the gist. Namor, in terms of AP, is easily around the Universal Plus ranges.
I agree.
I think it's a good idea to move on over to the speed. You mind if I start off with that?
Go ahead.
Now, as mentioned, he keeps up with Hulk, Thor, Silver Surfer, etc., etc. Now, this is very impressive because the Silver Surfer, even like if you lowball him, heck, I would consider a downplay at this point. He would be at bare minimum 5 quadrillion times the speed of light, as calculated by a friend of mine, Benjamin Hellfire Productions, for crossing the universe within a few minutes. Now, that is obviously downplay. I mean, which are infinite in size. Not only that, but the Silver Surfer has shown on occasion that he's fast enough to time travel thanks to his raw speed alone, meaning linear time really has no jurisdiction over his speed, which would translate to be immeasurable speed. And Namor has kept up with Thor, who has consistently kept up with Surfer, even speed blitzing. Namor has kept up with Surfer on a time or two, as well as Hulk and everybody else who has consistently kept up with Surfer. And even Thor has been seen on more than one occasion time traveling with his speed. Now, he hasn't done that in a while, but again, he consistently keeps up with Surfer, who does consistently do it, and even blitzes him. So I would say, if you're going to downplay, he's above billions and trillions. He's easily in the quadrillions, You could even say infinite, since the Marvel universes are infinite. However, I would go more along the lines of immeasurable, as it's more the Surfer has shown more consistent immeasurable speed feats. Obviously, Namor was scaled to this. Surfer has even shown this during his trip with Nova, another Herald of Galactus. Nova was even shocked. She's like, "Wow, I never seen such speed. How fast?" You know, she was really shocked. And Surfer was like, "Few can go this fast." He was bragging about it, you know, essentially. And then another time, he literally went so fast, verbatim on panel, faster and faster, breaking through space and ether and time. He literally like went so far back in time, went so fast, dropped this dude off, and then just went so fast back. Another time he was traveling around, looked like a Superman thing from that Superman movie, went around the Earth so fast, started time traveling. So right off the bat, it's like 3 times at bare minimum. So yeah, if Namor's consistently keeping up with these badasses, I would say he has at least baseline and measurable speed, at least. And if you want to downplay to that finite crap, he's easily 5 quadrillion, like bare minimum.
Thinking back, I remember actually another time Silver Surfer even showed the ability to time travel. I believe it was Nova, the chick. She took him. He took her back in time, and when she was a Herald of Galactus, and said, "What do you think about this planet? Like, would you feed it to him?" And it just had plant life on it, really, and no like sentient species. She's like, "Yeah, I would mark this." And he literally said to her, like, you just said he could eat Earth, because he took her to a point where Earth didn't have people on it, and showed he even took her back in time that far easily, and it was like nothing to him. It might be actually related to one of the things you brought up, but
yeah,
hell,
that's
even
where she
if
was
that's
like,
another
"Wow,
one.
I've never gone so fast." Yeah, that's where she was the one where she said, "Wow, I've never gone so fast," and he says, "Yeah, few have." You know, like he's basically like, "Yeah, few have," and yet Namor can keep up with this dude, like and react to Thor, who directly keeps up with Surfer regardless. Yeah, bare minimum, folks. You know, 5 quadrillion. If you go off infinite universal size, infinite speed in the, you know, but I would obviously go with immeasurable, as that seems more consistent from my point of view anyway. I think Gravity would agree with that as well, going off the consistent times he's done it.
He definitely has shown he is consistent. Now, people might think it's odd, like, oh, he's like a water character. It seems kind of odd. Well, you know, thanks to scaling, a character doesn't necessarily themselves have to show it, but he's showing he's consistently fighting people and being on par with them in speed, people that can do that, and how these people have even tried to blitz them and it hasn't worked. And even at times he's blitzed them in return with mixed results, of course.
Yeah, so logically, that's logic. Logically, you have to be close. He would have to be in that same ballpark of speed, or it wouldn't make sense for him at all to be able to keep up with any of these people at all. So that's just a fallacy in its own right to say, well, he's an underwater guy. So people that try to like say that, it's like the same people who say, well, Hercules is like a strong guy, he's not meant to be fast. That's a fallacy, dude. Okay, like it doesn't make any logical sense any other way. They would have to be able to be on that level of speed, or they would just get utterly speed blitzed. So it's pretty clear Namor should have immeasurable speed, at least baseline, bare minimum. You can argue, it's up to y'all. You can argue higher into it. He's at bare minimum, baseline, and measurable, you know?
Definitely.
Now, with speed out of the way consistently, time for the juiciness,
Oh,
the
yes.
gravitiness, the stuff,
Yes.
the hacks.
Yes. Now, people think, oh, he's Namor. Oh, like he can. Oh, he can fly. Yeah, he got the cool little ankle wings, which are dope. You hate on it. Something's wrong with you. And it's like, oh, he can water, and but he needs the trident to do stuff. Well, that's not true at all. And even some people say he can't talk to fish in modern times. He can, and he has on numerous occasions, and showed he can indeed, talk to fish and communicate them telepathically. And people that say, oh, he needs his trident for manipulating water and electricity, he actually absorbed the powers of Hydro Man. And even before that, He could soak water into his body and shoot it off his blast. He could do the same with electricity. He could absorb it. And heck, that trident, people, it doesn't just do water and electricity. It's actually magically enchanted. It can shoot mystical, magical bolts of lightning, similar to Mjolnir. It can plant curses on people. It can heal him, and it can do something called granting, which seems to be in relation to the mystical formation ability on the trident. Now, what this does, it's the ability to transform objects, willing subjects, and even the wielder to any desired form with added abilities. On top of this, he can also summon Giganto via the Horn of Proteus, though in recent times he doesn't seem to utilize that as much. Now, Namor, I would consider this just an ability overall on top of hacks. He can absorb radiation. To what level, it's not known, but the radioactive man full output seems to be too much for him. But keep in mind, radioactive man fights Thor and the like. So he's outputting that levels of radiation. He also has the ability, as he can breathe underwater, of course, otherwise it would make sense. He also has regeneration at low levels. Atlanteans normally heal faster than human, and Namor's is above even a normal Atlantean. And heck, he got stabbed in the heart by Black Panther, and he just pulled the knife out, broke it, and said, "Yeah, you failed to do your job," even when it hit him right in the heart, and he was completely fine. He also has a ability to mimic aquatic life abilities, such as lateral lines, like on a shark in a sonar. What this also gives him is precognition in a way. People have tried coming up with them, and even said this to Susan Storm. He felt her heartbeat underwater and could even tell what was wrong with her, and he wasn't like what she was thinking when he wasn't even using his telepathy. And on top of using this telepathy, which also grants him communication, he can also resist mental attacks. He actually yeeted the astral form Doctor Strange out of his mind, and then went on to just break out of the Crimson Bands of Sidorak, which are made of fibers of the actual universe. And now, going back to a little bit on, his maybe more mental capabilities of the precog, he can sense vibrations in the water and even in the air. Now, underwater, of course, it is greatly enhanced, but people tried walking up on him, and he knew they were there. And he even called out their names when they were being, quote-unquote, stealthy. And also, Namor's smart. He's multilingual.
Yes.
He speaks almost... Go ahead.
I would
I've been
actually
ranting
like
on
to
for a
add
little
on to
bit.
that one. Like, people underestimate his intelligence and skill. What they don't know, like, Namor is actually a very intelligent businessman, business typhoon, business typhoon. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a business monster. He's a genius in terms of business. And like, they don't realize he's actually trained in the art of swordsmanship. Now, they don't know that about him. They think he's just a brute, this Atlantean brute. But no, he's actually very skilled with a sword. He's a very intelligent businessman, part of the Illuminati throughout the comics. People really sleep on his skill and intelligence. He also keeps up with like characters who have like 1,000 years of experience in combat training, like Thor, for example, and Hercules, who has millennia of freaking wrestling. He's a freaking master grappler. You know what I mean? So people sleep on his skill. Don't even realize he's a swordsman. Like, he's actually trained in the art of swordsmanship.
Yeah, I believe he's noted as a master swordsman and even a master marksman as well, which you think, oh, he can't do that, but he's trained in being a master marksman as well. He also people say he's a brute. He's highly skilled in martial arts as well. Heck, he's even gone to, while restricting himself, swapped hands with Black Panther and Captain America, and has even caught the upper hand against them, which they're insane. Corin, please go over how insane their hand-to-hand skill is.
Yeah, if you want honesty, Black Panther has studied verbatim every martial arts in the world. Captain America is a master of every martial art known to man. Black Panther literally says Captain America has a counter and can adapt to any fighting style. The same dude who I just mentioned knows every fighting style, and Namor swapping hands with them. There you go.
Heck, and even if you want to lowball and say, oh no, he doesn't know all the martial arts, it's even officially listed. It's at least 160 that he's mastered, 160 martial arts. And Namor's catching the upper hand on these people that not only know that amount of martial arts and are masters at them, not like fucking adept, people, they're mastery over them. People that can also formulate counters to a lot of stuff, if not pretty much all fighting styles that they come into contact with. Heck,
Yeah.
Mention and go over the time Captain America mastered a martial art that takes decades to master in like 5 minutes.
He actually mastered an alien martial art and actually made it better than what they could do with it. Like he actually, within like a few minutes, seconds, around something around those ranges, he mastered like an alien, a foreign martial art from like and actually made it better than these aliens. And like to add on to that, Beast has even said like Captain America is capable of learning how to use any weapon and mastering any weapon known to man within seconds. So to add on to that, and Namor, again, while he may not be on the exact same skill level, the fact that he can tangle with them, react to them, make counters for their attacks is very freaking impressive.
And it's even showed he slows down for them because Namor does like a good fight. He was fighting with Captain America, and it's seeming kind of slowly kind of finessed Captain America and put him in a headlock. Heck, I believe he even did that to the master grappler Hercules at a point, and Hercules kept slamming him around, and like Namor wasn't letting go, and he kept his grip even when Hercules is trying to get a hold of him. So he got the upper hand against a master grappler, and even to the point that the grappler couldn't get him off. Hercules couldn't get him off and had to basically, just drop his weight and onto like some very hard rocks to get him off. And also someone else had to come up and help him and knock Namor off. So he's fighting these highly, highly skilled fighters. And heck, adding on to fighting skill, he's an expert tactician as well, because he does lead the Atlantean military, and has even shown to be at times, tactically outpace the minds of Tony Stark, Thor, Hercules.
Again, he's a brilliant businessman, like mentioned. You know what I mean? So he has to be able to. That makes sense for him to be able to keep up with them in that regard.
I mean, yeah, and he even, I believe, he doesn't really do this. I believe one time he picked up a weapon that Fantastic Four made, and before they could even tell him like what to do with it, he already knew. So I believe he even has that where he just picks it up. He quickly learns how to use it. But that could also play into the fact he's a skilled engineer and has made benefits and advances in Atlantean technology himself. He may be the king, but he ain't just sitting his ass on the throne. He's out there putting the work in to actually better his people, which goes into the way of how he acts. People like, oh, he's an anti-hero. Well, Dr. Doom is also an anti-hero, not really a villain. He's looking out for the best of his people. So if you see Namor doing something, he's not just doing it to be bad or good. He's saying, oh, this will benefit my people in some way. So he's all his skill set really play in well to, someone that's out there. He's looking to better his people. He wants the situation to be good for his people.
Exactly. I think at the end of the day, it's pretty clear to see Namor easily universal plus, any easily baseline and measurable speed, plenty of hacks, plenty of resistances, plenty of skill, genius in his own right in terms of tactician, swordsmanship. It's very easy to see.
I agree. And, hopefully this video, will educate people out there, and as well give more knowledge to people that maybe, we're kind of on the right track with Namor, but, just didn't know, like, what he's fully capable of. I know bringing up these points to a few other people before this happened, they were like, damn, I never knew Namor had this stuff. And yeah, he does. Just, I don't know why he gets kind of gets put in the shade because people think he's just kind of odd and
He's a
And
fish
one thing I
man,
will
you know.
mention, yeah, and I mean, some people even go to the lengths of saying, well, he's not the original aquatic hero. They say Aquaman is. Namor
Actually,
came out a few years before Aquaman did. So when people
yeah,
say Namor's just an Aquaman knockoff, it actually be
it's
the
the other way
reverse.
around.
Aquaman is the Namor knockoff. And
Yeah,
in
and
my
we're not
opinion,
trying to get into that. We're just saying if someone wants to say that, technically the fact is Namor did come before him. So, you
I
know,
mean,
we're not trying to brag about it. We're just saying
yeah.
if y'all, yeah,
End of the day, don't be sleeping on our boy Namor. Okay, this video gives him the respect he deserves. The Chad himself,
he's the
and
Submariner.
he's the Submariner. I think enough said right there. But I think that's pretty much it. I think we've gone over everything. What do you think?
Honestly, I agree. Enough said. At the end of the day, he's the Chad of Atlantis.
That wraps it up, guys. Thank you again, Corin, for joining me on this marvelous video.
Thanks for having me. I'm glad we could do this. Respect Namor. Respect life. Have a blessed day, folks. Peace.
Sure.